All right, well, thanks everyone for joining. I'm Corey Jenkins, the Director of Product Management here at Harding Americas. This is our 8th webinar in the Expert Camp series called Customizing Your Connector Made Easy, showing you our digital configurator. What we're going to show you today is all the digital tools, designing, like how to design, how to choose, and essentially how to make your plug and play journey process easy and quick. Just some notes. We are recording this today, and at the end of the presentation or webinar, you will receive an email update with all of our contact information and links to some of the data. So just a note on that. And on the phone with us today, we have Ed Garskowitz, who is our product strategy manager. Say hi, Ed.
Hey guys.
And we also have Goda on the line, and she is going to be demonstrating the actual configurator. So we will share her screen in a little bit here. So yeah, again, thanks for joining.
Okay, great. Well, thanks, Corey. Really happy to be here today. So yeah, let's get things started. First question, really, why are digital tools so important?
Well, one of the main reasons digital tools are important is that the technical requirements of our customers have been increasing, and just as importantly, the design cycles are shorter. So think about it. Their technical requirements increase, design cycles are shorter. How do we help them? What that means to them on a day-to-day basis is that their R&D time has shrunk, right? And from my experience, connectors themselves are always chosen kind of towards the end of the design cycle. So it's during crunch time, right? They got to get things right and it's got to be quick. So we're trying to make things as easy as possible for them to choose a complete connector. So that's really what we're trying to do, and that's why I think the digital tools are real important.
Okay, that sounds great. I guess the next question then is why do we need a configurator tool? I mean, the catalog is pretty useful.
The electrical systems themselves, you can still for sure use the catalog, right? But electrical systems themselves are becoming more complex. So what that means is that as it becomes more complex, we then have more solutions for the same problem, right? So think of it, 15 years ago, you have one requirement, and now we have one solution, but now Harding might have 15 solutions, right? So it's hard to make sure that you choose the right solution. So that's one of the ways that this really helps someone, is that they can choose 3 pieces of data, right? So think of it like voltage, current, and number of contacts. Enter it into this configurator, and it will immediately spit out the start of your journey, right? Whether it's a modular connector, a standard connector, but it gets you started, right? Instead of opening up a catalog, that's 400, 300 pages thick to start that. So it really helps, and really at the end of the day, the output of all of this is all the 3D files of tech data right there, right at your fingertips. So that's kind of why I think we really need a configuration tool, and it's really cool for our customers.
Okay, thanks. So next question, how does someone access the configurator?
Well, let's show you. I think that's probably the easiest way. So for everyone that's on the webinar, if you could do me a favor, and Goda is going to start to share her screen. It might be easiest if you maximize that screen, and we'll take you through this this configurator journey, if you will. So I'll give you a second to do that. And once you see her screen, you could either just follow along, which is what I would suggest, or if you feel up to it, you could try to follow along on your own. But I would suggest just looking at the screen. So as you can see on the screen right now, at the top right, it says configurator. Now this is at just www.harding.com. So there's no special portal or anything. So it's right on our website. You can see what Goda did there. She just clicked configurator. So just one note here is you see 4 different configurators. The The webinar today is about the industrial connector configurator on your far left. So go ahead and click that. And here's a real important point. I kind of want to pause here for you guys. You can see GOTA is logging into what we call the My Harding section. So you can take a look at that.
Okay. So My Harding, you know, what are the features really available? Why would someone log into My Harding?
Well, you can. The main feature is just like you know, any online shopping company. You can. It saves anything that you've looked at. Like you can save a configuration if you'd like. You can name it. You can share the configuration, as you'll see later, and it also gives you access to additional educational content like white papers and that sort of thing. So it does offer some advantages for sure.
Okay, sounds great. So can you show us now how to configure a connector using the HAN configurator?
Yeah, let's get it started. Go ahead, GOTA, and log in. And this is the screen that you as a customer would see. So one thing I'd like to point out here is that there are two different ways to configure a connector. There's one way with selection assistance. So think of it this way. If you're new to Harding and you don't know anything that we have to offer, and all you know is that you have this piece of cable that has, you know, 3 wires and it has a certain wire gauge and you just want to get started. That's what I would use for the selection assistant. Let's say you're more familiar with Harding and you know already that you really like our, you know, lightweight plastic eco connector and that you love the modular series. You can jump right into that and choose a connector without selection assistance and start jumping right into the size that you want. So that's more, I would say, for the engineer that has a little more experience. With selection assistance is if you're kind of new in your journey and you just want to look for a connector. So we're going to start first with selection assistance. So we'll go to showing on the left there. As you can see the different parameters that you can choose. You know, when we were designing this configurator, one of the main points was that we wanted to make it really, really easy for someone to get a bill of material, right? So what she's doing now is she's entering just 3 pieces of data. She's entering 6 pins, 16 amps, and 500 volts, right? Because I think most journeys, you know, when you're trying to connectorize, you have the piece of cable in your hand. So from this, right, that's just 3 simple things. She can hit show selection, and what you'll see here, it's going to show 2 different solutions. So as I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of different ways to solve the same problem. We have you know, modular inserts, we have standard inserts, we have some in plastic hood and housings, we have them, you know, without a hood and housing like this. So there's a lot of different ways to solve the same problem. And if you were to go back and enter more data, these solutions would be more narrowed, right, to your choice. But what you can see, go to scrolling through on the left there, it's showing you all the different possible options. And on the left right there is the modular solution, right? If you go over to the right, it's what we call a monoblock solution. So instead of the individual modules, you have one insert that will handle the 3 requirements that you entered. And to keep it simple right now, that's what we're going to choose. We're going to choose a monoblock insert, right, with 3 pieces of data. So let's get that going. And so she's just clicked it. Keep going, and then it shows you, look, it shows you the complete bill of material, right? All the way from the cable gland to the housing. So it's right away, right? We've been in this for 2 minutes, and you can already see a complete bill of material that could work for you.
Okay. So that looks really convenient. But you touched on the modular series. So what would I do if I wanted to have connectors of different media, power signal data? How would I do that?
It's real easy. So let's just say, like I said, you were there and you go, oh, that was easy, but now I want to go and add some more requirements because I really, this tool is pretty easy. So you can go back to your requirements. So go to clicking change requirements. You can go there. And remember, in the beginning, all we entered was electrical data, right? But let's say you wanted to add a high-speed gigabit Ethernet module or pneumatics. You can do that. So you see there's 4 options, right? Electrical, data, pneumatics, and like fiber optics. So if you can go in there, you still get all the drop downs. See, she's going to click the Ethernet module or the need for an Ethernet transmission. And if you go to pneumatics, right, it shows you all the different options. Open up, get that drop down again, go. You can see if you're like, oh, well, I don't know what size, pneumatic tube I have. I don't even want to mess with that right now. You can just guess, right, and it'll show you a bill of materials. So just pick one, and those are the options that were available, right? So it really guides you through the journey. So hit the selection. So now what you'll see, remember before I had said it showed 2 solutions, one for modular on the left, one for monoblock on the right. The monoblock now is grayed out, right? Because it has determined for you that the only way to solve your electrical challenge or your electrical requirements is with our modular series. So, again, like you'd asked Ed, you'd asked earlier, Ed, what's the advantage of using the catalog? That's something that you would have to kind of know, flipping through the catalog. This thing, as you just enter more data, it fine tunes your requirements. So it really helps you a lot.
And Corey, to your point, if you don't exactly know the sizing of some of the contacts, you can always click here to adjust, and it adjusts those individual parameters as well.
Yeah, that's right. So you can adjust once you get to here too, which is a really cool feature. And you can even, like, if you clicked on the different hood and housing, you can start changing the hood and housings and kind of really fine tune it here. So.
Yeah, and I think that would be the next question is, what if I make, or what if I want to change something that I've selected?
Yeah, go ahead and show them how to adjust things from here. So she's clicking on the gray button. It's going to take us to an area where you can start adjusting. And yeah, you're going to see it's pretty neat. It's like, right, this gets you to point A, and then as you get in there, you can adjust the contact size. You can adjust the hoods. You can adjust all the different hoods and housing. So I think this is pretty cool what you're going to see here. On the left, you see, look at that. You see what just happened? I think that is one of the main benefits. It threw up a completely assembled 3D model for you from the now 5 pieces of data you had entered, right? So you get a visual image of what it looks like, and now you can start adjusting from here, right? So watch, she's clicking on housing, right? You go, oh, the housing wasn't what I wanted. I'm not sure, maybe you don't even know what we have. You click on housing, it starts to show you all the different options that we have, right? There's a bulkhead housing. You can, right, change it to a surface mount housing. And, maybe these terminologies aren't familiar with you, but now you see a picture of it, right? You can just start clicking and playing. And I think especially now, right, with a lot of the work from home and things that have changed recently, this is a really helpful tool. And honestly, even our new hires, our new application engineers, this is a tool that they become familiar with and really helps even train them. So I would suggest, to the people listening to this webinar that whoever your engineers are, that they kind of get familiar with this. It'll really help them choose the right connector. So you can see she clicked on gland. You can see there's different plastic glands there, right? You can get the OD and everything. So yeah, So you can change it and kind of do anything you want from there. So look, you see the bottom housing changed, right? From a bulkhead to a surface mount. So now you can bring your cables in there. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
Okay. So looking at, I mean, she put together a complete solution, you know, with just a few clicks. But is there another way to configure a solution? Let's say you're more familiar with the products. Do you need to kind of through all these steps?
Yeah. So if you just go back to the beginning, and you see right at the top there, it says without selection assistant. So that's for your engineer if they want to dive right in, right? Let's say they already know they have a certain size housing of Hardings that they really like to use. Let's say it's this one, for example, because they have it already on their, right? Let's say it's the size 16B and they want to just put another one of these right next to it, right? They can go and start with this specific size housing, or if they had this specific insert, they could start there, or if they had the part number. So go ahead and just build a solution for them here.
Yeah.
Stick with the standard insert.
Yeah, absolutely. And to that point, they're actually, you know, you don't need to know the exact part number in this area either. There are some additional parameters you can input if you're not completely sure of what is needed.
Right. And you can see there's part number, things at the top. So you can just, I think, go ahead and just pick a kind of standard insert for now, standard solution for them with a gland. So maybe go to explain kind of what you're picking and things as you're going through it.
Yeah, so I just picked a sort of similar housing to what we saw in the other solution with the monoblock. And so you get to pick these items individually, right? So once that is selected, you can select the insert. It actually gives you the option to use the modular series as well as the monoblock. So we'll just stick with the monoblock for now. And what's also really nice is that it already filters out the items that you cannot use due to the size restrictions. But as you can see, there's still a lot of options, but we could put in the similar parameters that we did for the initial example with the selection assistant. So let's say 16 amps.
And vice versa too. If you pick the insert, it'll only show you the housings that'll fit it. So you don't have to keep, figuring that out as you go.
So I just selected the same one we did for the initial application. If everything looks good, you just click apply.
And I hope the viewers that are watching this can see how, how this can really help, a designer. It can also help our distribution channel choose the right connectors for our end customers, right? Anyone that's involved in the engineering side, this can really help you.
Okay. So I think on one of the screens, I saw another function called customizing. If you could describe that and what it does, be great.
Yeah, so that's the I want to kind of pause here. This customization feature to me personally is really cool because it's something that we had to do manually before. If you think about a connector like this one I have in my hand here, I'll wait for Paul to kind of show me. It has two holes in the hood. You can see that. Historically, you have the choice with Harding just to have one hole, a side entry or so. But as things get more complex and as you start to add different modules, we've realized that our customer base is asking for us to put different cable entries in different locations, depending on the cable size, depending on the direction they want the cable to exit, so on and so forth. And you know, that's something that's important to them. So we decided to automate that process, right? So they can themselves go, that's what Goda's showing here, right? They can themselves add the different glands to the hood on either the top or the side and move them around on the configurator. And it's not just for show. What will actually be produced out of this is the actual 3D model of what they just did, right? So that's really cool. They don't have to send in a sketch. They don't have to send in an email, right, with you know, or something like that. They can just do it right from here. So I think when we say customizing, that's what we mean. It's customizing on their own, and the output is the 3D drawing. So to me, that really is kind of the definition of saving time for our customers and even for us internally. And what's behind this, just to give you an idea, is that there's an automated process, right? So this data can go right to the machines that are producing these parts, right? So it just doesn't stop with the 3D drawing. So I think it's really neat that we've thought about the, you know, kind of the entire process. So what Goda's showing you here, you can see she picked a cable entry on the top, a different sized one coming out of the side, and she's moving it around, right? So look at, Goda, I guess, can you take a minute or two and kind of explain what you're doing there?
Yeah, absolutely. So what you're able to do is select which surface you would like to put a cable entry in, and actually you don't need to even add a cable gland. We have just the threads if that's preferred without the cable gland. So you select the surface, and we'll go, I guess, to the other surface here just to add another one. And let's go with this third cable gland here. This one's a little bit larger. And you could actually move these around a little bit. So especially when you have larger connectors, you have more surface on top.
So Goda, I noticed we're getting some questions in the chat. I think just for those, we're going to go through this and we have a Q&A at the end to answer all the questions, just to let you guys know on the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what's nice here as well is that, you know, it does limit what you can do in terms of, you know, if there's tolerances, you can't put two cable glands too close together, you can't put it too close to the edge. It really has all of that built in already. But again, if you have a lot of surface, you want to put multiple on the side, multiple on the top, you're able to move these around as you need.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really neat because you could, like, right, there's wall thicknesses of the hood to think about. There's radiuses as you turn the gland to think about, right, clearance and things like that. So it's all thought of already in this configurator. So it's really neat. Oh.
Okay. How about, let's go ahead, Goda.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to highlight that another feature as well is the labeling aspect. So we actually do have a laser printing feature in addition to the customized cable entry. So
right. So yes. So the labeling is also pretty neat because most people will label the cable, which they still could do that's coming in, or you could print right on the connector, right? The name of the cable that's coming in. Or they want to put the engineer's name on it just to be funny, they could do that too. To us, it doesn't really matter. It prints right in line. So I have an example here of the way the printing looks. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but it's right. I don't know if you can see that, but it does get laser printed right on the housing. So maybe I'll show you another example. I'll kind of get it close for the camera. That's what you're able to do. So.
Yeah, and this is great, especially to put if you have tons of connectors on a panel or in a certain area, you could even put the functionality of that particular connector so you know what it's used for.
Right. All right.
Great. Thank you, guys. So I think the next question then, so assuming you now have completed the customized connector, you know, the drawings and the models. I think you touched on it a bit, Corey, but.
Yeah. I mean, the next thing what you do is you have to hit, you know, submit right there at the bottom. The one thing I want to reiterate is through all of this, what you actually get is an ID number, right? So if you hit submit, you're going to get an email link that has this ID number that you can share with other engineers. For the distributors on the line, if you did this personally, you can share it with your end customers, and at any point come back to it, and you can name it whatever you'd like, right? I think that's a neat feature. And that when I mean share, you share the link of all of the 3D models, right? It doesn't actually, in that way you're not emailing these mega files, right? You're sharing the link, and you can choose what you'd like included, right? If you want the spec sheets, you can, or the data sheets, you know, or do you want the 3D files? So you can really, you know, it's kind of customize again what you would like to share or what you would like emailed to yourself. So
Yeah, and I think what's really nice also is that you can split apart which side of the connector you want. So if
yeah,
your panel is being built at a different location, you know, you don't need the entire connector, you just need the panel components. So it will actually split it apart for you if you select this item, and then you could get the 3D model just for that side.
yeah. And for the customers online, you guys know you might have your enclosure built right by one part of your company, and you might have the cable assembly built by somebody else, right? This helps split up the BOM and instead of confusing the engineer on which items are on his panel, right? So it, like Goda said, it really does help, and yeah, and you can come back to it anytime. So yeah, once you hit email the request in, what's going to happen is you're going to get contacted by your customer service person with actually with a price and a part number. So two things happen. You get your email where you can share your information if you'd like, and then you will get contacted by your customer service person with the part number and a price. So that's what happens. So hopefully it makes sense to you guys on the webinar. Our point today is just to reemphasize that we're trying to make the plug and play journey easy, right? You can if you're not familiar with connectors and you're a new user and you just want to put a connector on your panel, save some installation time. This makes your job, you know, a lot easier. And then for those of you that are a little more experienced with Harding, it even helps you get to the 3D models real quick. And the customization feature is, I think, pretty cool. So.
Great. Yeah, I think, you know, when we look at everything we talked about today, I think it really showed some of the added value that the configurator offers, really in compared to just a simple catalog. You know, I think Goda very easily showed how to completely build a customized solution. Yeah, I just also wanted to say, you know, the customization feature is very impressive, and you know, all the technical data that comes out immediately that you can use in the design process.
That's
so
cool.
Again, yeah, it's really cool. Again, not something that you can do with the catalog.
Yeah. Well, like I mentioned in the beginning, we're gonna hang on here. I can either answer some questions. Goda can do some more demos. Ed can moderate some more if you'd like. But yeah, we're gonna hang on here. And again, I thank all of you that have signed up for this. I know your time is limited, and to spend you know, 30 minutes here with Harding is really appreciated from my side. So again, thank you, and please ask away via the chat. So we have someone monitoring the chat.
Okay, so just to kick things off, Corey, we do have a couple questions to start. First question is, who do we contact if we want additional training on using the configurator tool?
Yeah, so that's a good point. This is kind of an introductory webinar, right? It's 30 minutes. You can contact our tech support team. That information is going to be in the follow-up email, and they can walk you through however long it takes you to get familiar with it, right? You can just email the tech. I think it's Harding Tech Support at harding.com, like that. It's going to be, you don't need to write that down. It's going to be in the email. So there's a team of them that'll walk you through it. Yeah, that's a good question.
Okay, thanks. Another question, does the configurator include every industrial part number in the database?
It includes almost all of them, right? We do have some industrial products that are unique to specific customers that we can't share for some NDA reasons. We also have some custom cable assembly part numbers that we don't include, right? And that's kind of on purpose because it's mostly unique to a customer. What is included though is 99% of the items that are meant for global resale are basically anything that you would find online on our distributor's website or in the catalog should be in here. And as we release new connectors as part of the launch, including them in this configurator is part of that process. So the answer to your question is most items are in there. Yeah.
Okay.
All the globally resold items are in there. Yeah.
Good to hear. Another question, what is the return policy on a customized solution?
It's actually a good question. I'll have to get back to them. I'm not sure what the custom configuration does to the return policy. I would think that it is different. I don't have an answer for that person now. I apologize, but I'll have to get back to them.
Okay, great, thank you. Another question, the questionnaire says, I'm new to connectors. Where on your website can I go to learn more just about connectors in general?
Yeah, I mean, there's a Harding U portal, I mean, that has all kinds of information by market, by product, and you name it. So I would go to harding-usa.com and you can find it right from there. There's a lot of information.
I would also jump in. Us FAEs are very helpful, and if you guys want some training, we can do sort of a webinar like Corey here is doing, and we can go through the basics. Go through a specific application or product series. We're really open to doing any of that.
Yeah. I mean, this room that we're in now is our kind of our webinar room, and we've conducted customer specific trainings, right? If someone's interested in a certain connector or a certain crimping technology, this room is available at any time. So just let us know for customers and distribution that's on the phone. It's kind of what we do.
Great, fantastic. Well, unless someone has another question now, that looks to be about the end of the questions here on the chat.
Well, all right. Awesome. Well, again, I guess I'll close it out here. I thank everyone that joined the webinar. I hope you guys use this configurator. That's the reason we're kind of showing it to you today, because we internally believe that it's useful. And if you have any questions about it, please give us a call. But yeah, give it a try. I mean, we like it here, so I think it'll help everyone that attended the webinar today. So thank you.
Great. Thank you.